Hi, everybody. Happy New Year. It's Braden. I am excited. I'm planning to start back up again with the Parent-Teacher Conference. As many of you know, need to take a little hiatus for some various reasons, but now I'm back and I'm planning on resuming, and I'm excited to jump back in. So I wanted to give you that news. I think I'm going to be trying some different formats, even since I stopped. Things, the technical abilities and capabilities of Substack have really increased. So I'm going to probably try doing maybe more videos and less written pieces, or maybe it'll end up being a little balance of both. Or we'll see. Maybe everyone will hate the videos and we'll go back. But we'll see how it works. Regardless, I did want to just do a video and quickly welcome you to 2025. I have some really phenomenal articles I'm excited to share with you that I've read over the holidays and have been saving up to share with you. Before I get to all that, though, there's one thing I wanted to talk about. Over the holidays, from Thanksgiving up till now, I've had some unusual chances to interact with my own children. My youngest now is 18, and so he's a high school senior, but technically, legally, all of my children are now adults. And it has reminded me of something that I've tried to write about before, but I think maybe needs to be emphasized even more to the parents of adolescents. And that is, we are raising our children to be adults, not to be teens. We are not raising our child to be popular in middle school. We're not raising our child to be successful, like a super successful athlete or student or scholar in high school. Those are great, don't get me wrong. And being a successful athlete or being a successful scholar, whatever, that may well help them in the next part of their life. But our goal is not to help life be smooth now. It's to help prepare them to be happy adults, because that is the way they'll spend the bulk of their life. So if we succeed in helping them be having a pretty smooth adolescence, but they don't learn critical adult skills, then that's not going to be a very good trade-off for them. Also, we need to always keep in mind that the bulk of our relationship, heaven willing, will be with them as an adult. The years we have with them as an adolescent are pivotal, and they are important, but they are the minimum, hopefully, of the number of years we'll have with our child. So keeping all those things in mind, there's a few things that have occurred to me that I feel really good about, and there's things I wish I would have done differently now. And I have raised my 5 children. That covers a lot of years, so it's almost like I have 2 families in a way, just kind of depending on how the culture was happening when they were raised. My older kids didn't have smartphones because none of us had smartphones. And so it was a much different world back then, for example. Here's, though, I think the number one thing that your child needs, and that is that they need to learn early to take responsibility. Any number of ways, I think, can help that happen. But it's critical that it happen. And here's just a few key places I would suggest that this will have a huge impact on your child's life. They need to do chores at home. I think they should be doing their own chores. Like, I think they should be, cleaning their bed, cleaning their room, and my wife's been good to have our kids do their own laundry, for example. I think that's critical. I also think they need to be doing chores that benefit just the family. Like, you live in this house, you're going to do this chore. And I think they should, have a few of those. And I think it should be pretty routine. If you think about it, that is a key part of adulthood. It's doing chores to take care of yourself, but also doing chores to help out other people, whether that's in a relationship or whether that's in the office or whatever. Second thing that I really think they need to do, and this is an area I think I wish I would have done a little more of, to be honest. I think they need to do more taking care of the details of their own life. So, for example, if your child, if there's a doctor appointment that needs to be scheduled, or if there's, a dentist appointment, or little things like that, just sort of the minutia, the details of their life. I think they should do that as much as possible. Absolutely, they probably will need some help and some coaching, and probably standing next to them. Conversely with that, I think the couple things you should never do I really don't think you should ever bail your child out. Like, I don't think you should bring their gym clothes or their instrument or their homework or whatever it is that they're missing. Like, if your child forgets something at school, unless it is a literal crisis, meaning there's no way they can recover from it, no way at all, I really don't think that you should help them out. I think it's important that they learn early that there are consequences when we don't do things. Likewise, I think I would never try to bail them out on an assignment. I think I would never argue or pressure a teacher to change a grade, for example. Again, maybe there's some cases, but there's an important lesson that they need to learn, and that is that, reality around us imposes things, and we can't always argue our way or plead our way. We don't always get credit just because of how we feel. Like, there are people and institutions who will expect that we just do certain things. The sooner they learn that, the better off they'll be. And learning it young, when the consequences are pretty low and not terribly going to be real invasive or intrusive into their life, is a really, really healthy thing. I think another thing that I would do, and this has kind of happened with my kids automatically for the most part, I would make sure they have a job as soon as they're able to work. And I would, honestly, I think they should have probably kind of a crummy job. I think having a kind of a crummy job where you have to work really hard and your boss, I hope they're not mean, certainly not abusive, but having maybe a tough boss who expects you to show up and do a certain, doing an amount of work for what you're paid to do. And if it's a little bit of a grubby job, I think that's really good. I feel like most kids today, most of us live in a fairly comfortable situation, many of us, I shouldn't say most, where we are insulated from a lot of just the harsher realities that used to happen, that people just used to face. We don't mostly have to get our own food or our own water. We don't have to go and chop wood or haul coal or things like that to have heat and water and things like that. And kids just have it pretty well. As a society, we care a lot about how kids are feeling. I think that's good in many ways. It's a good shift for sure from when, like my dad describes, when he was a kid, no one cared what they felt or thought then. But I think maybe we've gone a little too far. It is important, though, that your child has experiences where someone is going to help them understand that sometimes you have to do something and it doesn't really matter how you feel. That's a critical lesson. I think anyone who has a happy marriage or long-term relationships or has a job that they like and been successful at, you're going to understand that there's just times when we have to engage regardless of how we feel. So those are kind of the big things that I am thinking about that I feel like probably make a big impact on a child's adult life. I also think that they should know we love them, that we should know we are always in their corner. That may not mean that we always become like their, advocate, that we're always, again, I mentioned, I wouldn't be calling teachers all the time to complain or bosses to ask for different schedules or, whatever it is like that. But they should know that we love them, that we believe in them. I also find I've been very busy for most of my children's lives, and I do wish I'd had a little more time to just be around and be fun and engage with them. So I think having fun together is really important. I think helping your child find something that they love to do and that they're good at, I think that's really important as well. That's an important part of a well-lived life. I also think spending time helping your child, working through problems in a way that models how adults, in a healthy way, encounter challenges and then solve them. How do you work through an unpleasant emotion, or how do you work through conflict with people you like even, or that you love, or that you don't even like? But how do you work through those? How do you manage those emotions? What are the skills that are involved in learning how to work through those kinds of things? I have, with my older kids, I set some rules. I think they're pretty good rules, but I wish I would have spent more time with them, maybe explaining the why and helping them understand, not just kind of laying down the law. I did better with that, I think, with my last few. At any rate, those are just some things I would encourage you to be thinking about. But as the parent of a teen, just remember, you're not raising a teen, you're not raising a 7th grader, you're not raising a 9th grader, You're not raising a 16-year-old. You are raising an adult who currently happens to be in ninth grade. Or rather, you're raising a ninth grader who is very quickly going to be an adult. And so what skills in every situation, just think, what skill can my child learn from this? Or what attribute can they develop that's going to help them as an adult? Or that will build our relationship for when my child becomes an adult. Anyway, be thinking about those things. I'd love to hear from you on things you have learned and you have found. It's always lovely to talk to you. Happy parenting. You've got this.